Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for Thursday, the 15th of October. All right, now coming into today's trade, you can see a little bit of gyration here in the dollar index. There isn't a lot going on, okay? Equity markets, slight risk off to neutral sort of setup at the moment as we sort of wait to see what happens. The same geopolitical events are burning away. This is the aid stimulus package in the US, which Trump is holding off. They're sort of looking maybe after the election, who knows? But basically, there's a few other things going around. The obviously the lack of or maybe no vaccine is also impacting a few currency pairs. But one pair that's sort of just kicked into gear is the Aussie dollar, right? So it has been trading sideways with everything else. It's just had a dip down. Now, the RBA governor, I'd say about half an hour ago, 40 minutes ago, came out and basically said that lower rates is possible down to 0.1, which would be hit an historical low. And they're sort of looking at other measures, basically saying it's sort of slightly negative, saying that basically they're not exactly sure what they're doing now will get inflation going that soon. So basically, probably been a little bit too honest. Now, what have we got? So to me, the Aussie is a bit of a goer, and I'll show you that in the market insight in a second. Kiwi, I tell you what, this thing is resilient, just trading sideways. No one, after that, those comments about actively getting ready for negative rates by the RBNZ, market's been burnt and they're just sitting on the sidelines on the Kiwi. Dollar yen, well, it's starting to tread lower as that sort of risk situation builds around all these events. Euro, I was probably a little bit lax yesterday in saying there was some German zoo economic sentiment numbers which were much worse than expected the previous day. That probably led to euro breaking down. Now it's sort of found fair value around 117.50 and just banging away, right? But it's sort of attached to the weak German or economic outlook of Europe and now the US dollar as well. Sterling, I mean, I mentioned this as well. I'll show you in the daily market insight. Now, there's talk of potentially some sort of positive deal for the UK. As I mentioned yesterday, any deal, Brexit deal, right? They got till Thursday, which is today, obviously. That is going to be positive for sterling. No deal, negative immediately, right? So that's the immediate impact. I'm sure it'll work itself out after the deadline's over. I'd probably just thrash about a bit, but at the moment, it looks like there might be a bit of a deal. So that's why sterling's popped. And you know what? Dollar CAD, very much like the Kiwi, right? These things have been thrashed about a bit. And it's just trading sideways there as well. All right. Now, let me just bring you back to the daily market insight. Now, I've added a couple of extra things here to probably help you along. Now, market conditions, well, you know what? Still pretty average because you've got all these various geopolitical events and they are diffusing momentum, right? We're getting little pockets of momentum and the geopolitical backdrop and the uncertainty around those doesn't give traders the confidence to hit them. They have smaller trades and smaller opportunities. But we have got a little bit of a neutral or slightly risk-off sentiment. Now, I should have mentioned this yesterday. This week's focus, obviously, the euro sterling, I think, is a big opportunity with Thursday's Brexit. If they get a deal done, euro sterling should sort of crap out to the downside. If there's no deal, you'll probably see it pop to the top side. So, and with euro and sterling both being a little bit weak, like as of a couple of days ago, it was really trading in limbo. So just keep an eye on that as we go forward. Today's top pick as far as the currencies go, well, we've been given the lead in by the RBA governor. Now we've got Australian employment and Chinese CPI numbers coming out. They come out an hour apart. If they're both weak, and I know the macros aren't really coming into play just yet, but if they're both weak, we could see the Aussie take a tumble down below 71 and at least have a trade on for say several hours before the North American market kicks in. Then we see what the dollar's doing. No major change in the sentiment of the major pairs. And as I said, the major macros aren't really consistent, but keep an eye on these. They may come into play, especially with that lead in from the RBA governor. You got Aussie employment, Chinese CPI, and then we can run into some US numbers later in that North American session. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. There's, as I said, this is why I've added the week's focus and today's top pick, because there are usually throughout the course of a day, one pair that will have a very clear opportunity. And that's what I think the Aussie has got today. So make sure you check that out. All right, guys, have a good trade day. Cheerio.